Welcome back to G.A.M.E.R Night. I'm your host, G.A.M.E.R here, and today, welcome back to a brand new review. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Alan Wake 2. That is right, Alan Wake 2 has finally released after a long time waiting. Literally, not just like since its original trailer. I mean, fans have been waiting for 13 years for this game. Yeah, it's finally here. We're finally doing this review. My new goal is to do reviews within like a week of the game releasing. You know, some games are going to be a lot longer, so that might not be possible. But yeah, here we are, exactly 1 week after the game has come out, and we're doing this review. Now, I'm gonna just say this has probably been the most excited I have ever been to do a review, like, period. For multiple reasons. Number one, this game is phenomenal. This game is, yeah, this game is peak. Number two, I have these like bullet points right here. When I do these reviews, I've never had more bullet points in my life, and it just comes down to one reason, and that is there's so many positives and things to talk about when it comes to this game. So without further ado, we're just gonna go ahead and jump straight into it, because I don't even want to do an intro anymore. I just want to talk about this dang game. Oh my gosh, almost broke my chair. But anyway. So yeah, this game is published by Epic Games. I know it's a little weird, but it is actually developed in Unreal Engine 5. So this is one of like the very first Unreal Engine 5 games that like everybody gets to play. It's a mainstream, you know, big AAA title. Immortals of Avium was Unreal Engine 5, but that had a lot of performance issues. You know, Layers of Fears also was Unreal Engine 5. And that wasn't really mainstream though, unfortunately. So yeah, this is kind of like the very, like, almost one of the first ones that everybody's finally getting to get a hold of that actually runs really well. And yeah, it's really awesome. Yeah, like I said, this game did release October 27th of 2023, and it is a sequel to the 2010 cult classic Alan Wake. They did a remaster for the original Alan Wake. Was it 2021? I think. Yeah, I think it was 2021. Alan Wake 1 got a remaster. I did end up getting it. Yeah. Yeah, so let's go ahead and let's get talking about the game. So this sequel takes a much larger approach. You know, it takes a more horror approach, takes from what it seems like, a much bigger budget approach, that's for sure. There's a new main protagonist, there's like a bunch of new areas. It really just takes everything the first game did and like multiplies it by 10. I'm not saying in terms of quality yet. I'm not spoiling anything yet, but in terms of like size and just scale, scope of the game, it definitely ups it a bunch. I think, well, the thing is, my biggest takeaway from this game is quite literally everything. Yeah. Now here comes the spoiler. Spoiler alert, I don't think anything is perfect. Nothing is perfect. There's no game that is perfect in my eyes. But this is as close to perfect as it gets. Okay? This is as close to perfect as it gets, in my opinion. Now, I will say this whole review, this is just my opinion. This is purely based off of my experience. I'm not a critic. I'm not like super like nitpicky or anything. So this is purely just based off of my opinion and my experience alone. You guys may not feel the same way, and that is completely okay, but this is what I believe. So I think this is as close to perfect as it gets. Every factor a video game should have, this game does it to the highest, and I mean the highest of quality. So we're gonna go ahead and run through all the different factors, starting with the visuals, because that's always the first thing you notice when you look at a game. I mean, sight. Come on now. This is one of the best looking games to date. I mean, it is incredibly beautiful. I mean, the detail for, first of all, is immaculate. The graphics are insane. I mean, Unreal Engine 5, we're definitely seeing its capabilities now, and Oh yeah, great stuff. Yeah, it's just so great to look at. The environments are so beautiful, creative. They're so honestly kind of colorful in a lot of places, especially in the dark place. Which, by the way, there is probably going to be spoilers in this review. I'm gonna try to not like spoil the entire game, but there probably will be some spoilers just because it's really hard to talk about this game without spoiling anything. But yeah, especially a lot of the times in the dark places or during a lot of segments with like live action scenes or like scene changing like in game. We'll get to that later. The colors are actually really vibrant and really neat to look at for sure. And then, like I said, the performance of the game is actually really great. I was running a stable 60 frames per second the entire way through. There was no dips, no for frame rate drops. It was just beautiful from start to finish. And a lot of the shots, there's so many great shots in this game. So big props to the director and for the cinematographers. The cinematography is great. Yeah, it's just such a pleasant game to look at, especially being a horror game. It's so beautiful. It's not just straight dark, grim, like evil looking. There's actually a lot of beautiful looking scenes, like creative looking places, and yeah, it's just absolutely awesome. Now I did just talk about it, the live action. So one of the big things about this game bringing into it is they're doing like a bunch of live action segments within the game. So there's like live action scenes, you like see videos or images of live action within the world. And I thought this was genius, and they executed it excellently. I thought it brought a whole new dynamic to gameplay. Watching cutscenes, it really helped the story, which we'll get to that later. Yeah, it just kind of blended with the visuals that we just talked about really nicely. It's a very colorful, creative game mixed with this new live action stuff. It was really just overall so interesting to just look at the game, and I mean that's definitely one of the biggest pros about it, because I mean if you don't enjoy looking at a game, then you're probably not going to enjoy playing a game, and luckily definitely enjoy looking at this game for sure. Like I just said, the visuals do blend perfectly with the gameplay. The immersion of exploring, the like progressing through levels, because there are so many moments in segments and levels that are just carried so hard by visuals. I'll tell you right now, there's one chapter where it's just a straight musical. I know you're probably looking at me like, what the heck? Yeah, it's just a straight musical, and it's all live action, colorful, like screens everywhere, lights everywhere. The lighting's fantastic as well. And it's just it's so carried by the visuals, but it works so well for this game. Like I said, like seeing all the different images, videos play like before your eyes, like in front of just everything, is so mesmerizing and so just different. It's so different, and that's what I love about this game, is everything is just so. I feel like I've never played anything like it before, and I haven't. That's the thing. Apart from Alan Wake 1, I mean, Control was kind of like it, but not even to this extent. Like it just felt like a fresh new thing right out the gate, and I couldn't put it down. I couldn't not like it. It was so great. Like I said, all these videos, images playing before your eyes. Echoes are a big thing in the game. It's where you like look at this little like weird circle, and it like plays this little like memory, but it's like weird like lighting that like just shows up in the reality that's like not actually there, but you can like see it. You can't explain these things with words. You just have to see it, and it's so just. How do you do that? Like, it's so cool looking. Profiling, which is like when you're playing the FBI agent Saga Anderson, she's one of the new main protagonists. You get this like really cool looking like kind of like cutscene kind of, but it's just dialogue. But you get these cool little visual elements with the character speaking to Saga, and it's awesome as well. Like I said, the musical was just straight like live action video. There's like TVs a lot throughout the game where you could like just see like all these videos and like live action segments within the TVs themselves. You could like go into the TVs, come out of the TV. Bro, it's crazy. It's just the fact that kind of what like the whole like setting and like thing of this game is just being able to change reality in front of your eyes is just so cool. Like you're always just wondering what's the next way they're gonna do something crazy, and when they do it, you're like, oh, that is awesome. That's just awesome. This game has a lot of that throughout like its entirety. It happens and you're just like, oh, that's awesome. That's awesome, man. That's honestly a whole summary of this game. It's just awesome. But yeah, the puzzles going on to the game, like more of core gameplay here. Puzzles are a huge part of this game, and I'm not the biggest puzzle fan, but oh my gosh, they delivered them greatly. Through all these factors, they're fun, creative, super engaging. Whether it's through like the visuals, whether it's through some audio, whether it's through some combat. Through some of the core gameplay mechanics, like being able to like change like a whole room in front of you, like it's like there's a lot of scenes where you have to like figure out a crime scene, and you have to like put the like, it's really hard to explain this game, guys. You have to like put these different scenes into like a plot board, and like a little live action video will play of him like typing, and then the whole room like changes instantly. It uses that really fast loading screen to just change reality in a blink of an eye. And that has to do with some of the puzzles sometimes. You know, just things like trying to find the lock combination, things that we've kind of already seen before, but are still just, they just work. They're just a winning formula. Like, if it's not broke, don't fix it, to be honest, because like, how else are you gonna like do? You're not gonna make a whole chapter dedicated to finding a lock code. I mean, you could, but you know, then it would just be like dragging on it. But no, the puzzles were really great, really creative. I really enjoyed what I was just explaining. A lot of the Alan Wake chapters, you have to find a crime scene, and some of the puzzles is like finding the crime scene, and it's through like all this whole map, and like the puzzles through this whole map, and it's wild. And it's no puzzles ever too confusing, no puzzles ever too much, too little. It's kind of just the perfect amount of puzzles, and they're all just fun, creative, and engaging. That's really like, I never once was like, God, I just want to be done with this puzzle. I'm always like, man, this is a good puzzle. Like, it's just one of those kind of things. Puzzles matched up with fun and satisfying gameplay. Here we go, the gameplay. Combat-wise, it's not like the flashiest combat in the world, but it feels powerful, and it feels just right for the tone of the game. The best way I'm going to compare it is to Resident Evil 4. Honestly, it's very, very similar to Resident Evil 4. In terms of the shooting, in terms of, like, melee combat, there's really no melee combat. You just, like, use your flashlight to just, like, whoosh, smack them in the face. You know, a lot of it is just like Resident Evil 4 mixed with that supernatural vibe of Alan Wake. You do find a lot of different weapons throughout the game, not like a ton, but enough. And this game isn't super heavily focused on combat, so, you know, you can only do so much. There's like flares, there's flash grenades, there's healing, there's, you know, sidearms, primary weapons. You got your flashlight, which you can do stuff. You know, sprinting, stealth, all that stuff to just make kind of a horror game. And yeah, it just works really, really well for this game. Like, yeah, I mean, if you like the Resident Evil 4 combat, you're gonna love this game's combat. But I will say, you don't do combat as much as like Resident Evil 4. Like, it's not constant enemies like every like room. They're like not rare, but like 50% of the chapters have actual enemies, which I think is perfectly okay given like what the game was trying to go for. It's a very, and I mean very, I mean 90% story heavy game. I might even say more than that. Like it might be a 95% story heavy game. So that's completely okay. And then also, we're talking about a horror game here, so we got to talk about the horror in terms of the gameplay. And I'm happy to say, it is scary. It is kind of scary. There are a lot of parts where you're like either jumping, you're either super uncomfortable, you're either super unsettled, you're either disgusted, you're either stressed as all ever. It's just the perfect blend of horror, in my opinion. I personally got jump scared a few times. I'm not gonna lie. I don't get jump scared too easily. But I did get jump scared a few times. It's unsettling. It's creepy. It makes exploring and progressing through levels tense, stressful, with thrill, excitement, anticipating what comes next, all that stuff. In my opinion, I compare it to Dead Space. It's very scary in terms of Dead Space. It's not pure terrifying, but it's that stress-inducing creep factor with just you never feel safe. You never feel safe in this game, and I love those type of horror games. Environmental, atmospheric horror, psychological horror, all of that stuff. Well, perfectly well done. Just absolutely greatly done. Now, another big thing about this gameplay is, I know there's a lot. You probably didn't expect this. All the detective gameplay. This is probably like the best detective gameplay I've ever personally played. There's like, for Alan Wake and Saga Anderson, they have these two separate rooms. For Saga, it's the Mind Place, and for Alan Wake, it's the Writer's Room. These were fantastic inclusions. I love this. I thought this was a blast. I'm not gonna lie, and it adds that slower paced gameplay. There's like these segments where you don't get to explore, deal with combat. You're just in this room dealing with story stuff, and I thought it was really, really great. It was just a nice change in pace. And it's never like you're in there an overly amount or too little. You're always there at least once or twice a chapter, and it's just a great change for a slower paced gameplay, and I thought it was really great. Yeah, some of the detective work, piecing all the clues and everything together, I thought was really entertaining, really just well thought out. You can do a lot of other things there, like the profiling for Saga, changing the scenes for Alan Wake. You can watch some television clips, read some manuscripts, all that stuff. I just thought overall it was just a great inclusion. I thought it was well needed and executed very well. Exploring and playing the chapters are enhanced by, believe it or not, some of the best audio design I have personally ever experienced. The details in the environments and interacting with the world is wild, man. Wild. If you are wearing good headphones, you are going to be constantly looking around you in your actual room, because you hear things so far in the distance or so minor that you would never expect to hear. Like, stepping on wood is a marathon, bro, because you get so scared by all these different sounds that this wood is making that you're like, what the heck was that? Like, I'm telling you, man. Like in the first chapter, when I was I was straight into it. I wasn't really knowing what to expect. You walk on these bridges, you walk on wood planks, you go to like this little shack that has like wooden windows that like keep on swinging back and forth. You could just hear so many different audio. Like, I mean, God, I box, okay? I box, and I've never been through more of a fight than trying to not look around my room, because all this audio is so... Oh, it's so brilliant. It is so brilliant, man. I mean, yeah, the wind blowing, like, just a lot of the environment sounds, enemies, wake. Oh my god, a lot of the enemies, whenever you're in the dark place, just scream, wake. And it goes on for the entire game. It never gets, like, repetitive. Like, it never gets annoying. It's just so... It's awesome, man. Characters, a lot of the voice acting is really great. And like scenes, like the musical, the audio design there was great. A lot of like the flashing of like images and the sounds that go with those are really great as well. And yeah, like honestly, this is one of the games where I would say like you can actually talk about the audio design a lot, because it's a big focus for it, and it's a big enhancement for it. It's not just, oh, they need audio, so they're gonna put in audio. No, there's actually great audio, stuff to actually talk about there. Actually, speaking of audio, one of the biggest surprises about this game for me, believe it or not, is, I feel like I've said that a lot already, actually. I feel like I've said one of the biggest surprises. Everything in this game was a surprise. I thought this game was going to be great. Nah. It is peak. Yeah, one of the biggest surprises was actually the OST. You name me another horror game that has a god tier OST. I personally can't think of any. I can think of some that have like good OSTs, like like one or two songs that are really great. After every chapter in this game, a song plays, and there's a lot of great songs in this game. Even in the game, like the musical, or when you're summoning Alan Wake to the just normal reality. What do I even call that place? Normal Earth? I don't know. Like whenever the old gods of Asgard are rocking out, you know, like I couldn't believe how much I have 5 or 6 songs from this game saved on my playlist now because the OST actually slapped. But yeah, we're gonna keep moving because this review is gonna be really long. I know, I'm sorry. Look, all of these factors that we just talked about, visuals, gameplay, audio, music, all of these factors that Remedy has executed in amazing ways is what delivers, quite possibly, and I'm saying this right now with so much confidence. I beat the game 3 days ago, and I still 100% believe this. They delivered, quite possibly, the best storytelling I've ever seen in a game. From the prologue to the post-credit scene. Yes, there is a post-credit scene. Constant, edge of your seat questions, mind-boggling answers, gut-wrenching moments, dope moments, emotional weight, thrilling sequences, high energy, slow tension, all paced wonderfully. All of this heightened by one of the best cast of characters I've seen in a while. This is by far, I'm not going to say it's the best story I've ever seen. I still prefer a lot of other stories. I think a lot of other stories are better. But in terms of storytelling, in terms of the pacing, in terms of what the story is able to deliver on a frequent basis, I think it is one of the best storytelling games, period. I think it is the best storytelling game, period. Like I just said, from the prologue to the post-credit scene, there was never a moment I thought dragged. I never thought it rushed. I thought it was perfectly executed all the way through. And the big important thing is it was interesting all the way through. You were always asking questions. You were always given more answers. And you were always given enjoyment and excitement and fear. And it is so great. And not only that, but it rewards players who have played the other games with references to events, like dates that happened, callbacks, etc. If you played the game, you'll know, like, I mean, there's one that was even in the trailer. You saw, like, one of the scenes is, we've been dying to know, what does it's not a lake, it's an ocean mean? That was literally, like, one of the last lines in the first game. And 13 years later, yeah, we are dying to know what did that mean? So this is great callbacks to that. But like it's great because the plot itself is so complex, but it's never just nonsense. A lot of things, not even just games, they try to go for the most complex plot that it just becomes like. It just becomes too much. It just becomes nonsense. But I never felt that. I felt like it was it knew exactly what plot and story it was trying to tell. And while it was very complex, they knew that, and they made sure to stick to that and execute it really, really well. But yeah, like I said, nothing felt rushed, nothing felt dragged. Every chapter felt like they kept getting better and better till the credits rolled. I mean that. I really do mean that. Now, I personally do still enjoy the first chapter more than a lot of other chapters. But that's just because I love openings to game. Personally, openings are like probably my favorite parts of games. I just love openings for some reason. I don't know why. But like no, truly, like, in terms of story, every chapter, it just kept on getting more and more and more intense, more and more exciting. And that's something you don't get with a lot of games. One of my issues with Spider-Man 2 this year is that I just felt the pacing was a little off. Like, I felt it would reach a high moment, but then it would just, like, kind of die down a little bit. Nah, that is not the case with this game. You reach a high moment, and then just jumps to the next high moment, then jumps to a next high moment, another high moment, and it keeps on going and going and going until the end, and you just felt like you just went on the wildest ride of your life, man. It is absolutely awesome. Through excellent visual work, with cutscenes and in-game storytelling like echoes and profiling, we talked about that earlier. Yeah, it just delivers great in-game storytelling outside of cutscenes and lore and all that. Yeah, engaging cutscenes, in-game live action, excellent dialogue, delivering great voice work. The voice work was really great. They had heart, humor, drama, all that stuff. Fantastic cast of characters. Alan Wake, Saga Anderson are awesome protagonists. I absolutely loved them. Casey's even great. I loved Casey in this game, man. There was a lot of great characters. Odin, Tor. You know, you even got the one FBI agent that showed up late. She was not very like complex as a character, but you know, she was enjoyable for what she was in. Even Alice, Alan Wake's lost wife, even played a kind of a big role in this game, and her little live action scenes were great, for sure. But yeah, you're probably thinking, dang, there's so much to this game, and yes, there is. But the length of the game is just right in my opinion. The length of the game is just right in my opinion. It's around, I finished it, I think, around 16 to 18 hours, and there is DLC on the way, so you already know I'm gonna be jumping on that instantly. And the option to play at your own pace was much needed and great. And that's something else I loved about the story and how it was just so clever. Is that you're able to play at your own pace, because after you beat the first 5 chapters, 2 as Saga and 3 as Alan Wake, after you beat the first 5, you were able to choose whose chapters you play in what order. So if you wanted to, you could play all of Alan Wake's chapters first, and then play all of Saga's, or you can play all of Saga's first and then all of Alan's, or you can do 1 Alan, 1 Saga, or 2 Saga, 1 Alan, 2 Saga, 3 Alan. Like, you can choose what order you want to do, and the great thing about it is both of these stories overarch. Eventually, you have your individual storylines for each character. Eventually, you split them up in chapters. I know this is a weird like interpretation. You split them up in chapters, but they overlap. Overlap. Hey, you know what? That was a pretty brilliant, imagery, in my opinion. All right, leave me alone. This game is mind-boggling. It's so hard to explain to you, but that's the best you're gonna get. Okay. But yeah, the option to play, I think, at your own pace was awesome. But yeah, all these factors we've talked about. Listen, all these factors we've talked about. Visuals, gameplay, audio, music, story, content, features, all these factors is what delivered one of the best, and I mean this, one of the best experiences you can possibly have. So many high points from beginning to end, no low points. There is no negatives I have about this game, ladies and gentlemen. There are no negatives I have. It's unique, it's creative. Creativity and uniqueness shine through every single chapter. This is everything you can ask for with a game, let alone a horror game. This is easily one of the best games I've ever played. Honestly, I would go as far to say I'm under a lot of impression right now that this is the best game I've ever played. I cannot at the moment think. Now, I don't know if I'll exactly think about this a month or so ahead. I just don't know yet. Emotions work in weird ways. But at the moment, I cannot think of a game in terms of quality that I think is better. Okay? Now, I'm going to go and say, no, this doesn't touch Ghost of Tsushima for me. Okay? This doesn't touch Returnal for me. Those are still my favorite games of all time. They're like the most fun games I've ever played. But I'm looking at this in terms of a quality perspective. I think Alan Wake 2 is definitely a better game than Returnal. Definitely a better game than, definitely a better game than Returnal. And I do think it is better than Ghost of Tsushima in terms of quality and looking at all these factors from a different standpoint. In terms of my personal standpoint, no, I still prefer Ghost of Tsushima and Returnal. But, whatever, hey, I don't know exactly what game was in third place. It could have been Spider-Man PS4, it could have been Just Cause 4, it could have been a multitude of things. Yeah, goodbye. Alan Wake 2, I think, is my third favorite game of all time at the moment. This is awesome because this is the sequel the fans of the original deserved after waiting 13 years. And big congrats to Remedy because they have come together and put together one of the most beautiful pieces of art I've ever seen. This is easily a 10 out of 10 masterpiece. Honestly, I wish I could do more. I want to put this at a 20 out of 10, like, best game of all time, like, thing. Like, listen, I've talked enough. This is up to you now. If you want to experience this, and you should, you need to, go get the game and play it for yourself, and you will understand. I promise you, you will love it. I've seen nobody not like this game. I've not, on all of social media, I've not seen one person not like this game. I've seen a lot of 10 out of 10s. I've seen 9 out of 10s. I can't even imagine putting it 9 out of 10. Like, I don't know how you could find the reasonings to not give it a 10 out of 10. Like, it must just, I know why. I'm just being that guy. But, like, I know why. People, you may just not vibe with it. Like, it may not just be up your alley. But everybody can agree this is a great game. Whether it's a 9 out of 10, I've not seen anything below, like, a 9 out of 10, honestly. And so, yeah, this is, dude, this might be the best game I've ever played. Real. It might be the best game I've ever played. But let me know what you guys think down below. Do you think I'm gassing? What? Let me know down below. Do you think I'm capping? Do you think I'm spitting straight facts? I'm spitting straight facts. Just let me know if you've played the game. What is your opinion? I'd love to know. Were you not as crazy about it as I am? Are you just as crazy about it as I am? Let me know. Yeah, man. One thing I do want to say, I've seen some conversation who has the better chapters, Alan Wake or Saga Anderson. That's hard, dude. That's hard. I think Alan Wake had the better chapters, but I think I actually enjoyed playing a Saga more, which is crazy, man. It's crazy, but I don't know. I kind of just like the normal reality a little bit better. Like, it wasn't like, I don't know. The Dark Place kind of got like crazy at times, but I kind of just like the simplicity of it. But I love both. Both of them are great. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. G.A.M.E.R out. Peace.